Today, April 29th, is known as Childcare Unaffordability Day. A group wants to bring attention to the challenge Minnesota families face, arguing the state has some of the highest childcare costs in the nation. Northern News Now's Michaela Wrench spoke with a Duluth mother and an advocate today who hope new efforts will bring down costs.
Like any typical household with two working parents, childcare is a must. For the Eads family in Duluth, it's been a struggle as well.
As soon as we got pregnant, we called around, and it took us 15 months.
She's not alone. According to a nonprofit in Minnesota called Think Small, April 29th marks the day of the year that a typical Minnesota family of four will have already paid 7% of their income towards childcare expenses. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, families should spend no more than 7% of their household income on childcare.
Today comes from our role as advocates, helping to coordinate parents and engage parents around this topic of childcare affordability.
Erica Moss is the director of Think Small. As part of their mission, they have a group called Minnesota Parents for Childcare Affordability, helping parents to find solutions for specific challenges. She says most parents spend well above that 7%.
By the end of the year, a family with two kids in a child care center will have spent almost 40% of their entire income on child care expenses.
In the Eads family, the mother of two says they couldn't get their daughter into childcare until she was 15 months old. Her 4-month-old son will be starting childcare in a few months, and nearly 27% of their monthly income will go to childcare.
We should be putting a lot of our income into retirement, which we can't now. So it's a lot to have that lack of affordable childcare.
Making changes so working families can afford childcare. In Duluth, Michaela Wrench, Northern News Now.
And Eads said if she didn't have the option for an extended medical leave while they wait for her son to start childcare, they'd be scrambling to afford any living expenses. And Moss with the Think Small organization says Minnesota parents are working to enact possible childcare legislation next year.